I have you now, sister, Luna said lowly. I don't plan to go down without a fight, Celestia replied without a trace of fear. My knights surround you. You can't escape. Guess again. Castle. Luna started as Celestia used the obscure but legal move to get her alicorn out of check. Did we agree to use that rule? We didn't agree not to, Celestia smirked. Luna grumbled at her failed two-pronged assault and observed the damage. The chessboard had been custom-made for the princesses. Luna, of course, always played black, and her sister always white. The alicorn pieces had been sculpted in their image, a trend that she'd noticed becoming increasingly popular among more commonly sold sets. Luna couldn't help but notice how closely Celestia's pieces resembled a certain group of ponies whose legacies had been unwritten millennia ago. Luna's pieces, in turn, were modeled after those who had given their lives aiding her in her quest for eternal night. Actually, speaking of which... Sister, I would speak with thee. Speak with you, Luna, Celestia corrected gently. What's wrong? Have you seen these articles? Luna floated over a stack of papers she'd laid on her desk, holding them up to read. Princess Luna was possessed by the demon Nightmare Moon. Nightmare Moon was really an evil mind control slug inside Luna. Princess Luna assumed the form of Nightmare Moon as revenge for history's demonization of her after her banishment. Princess Luna pretended to be evil so Princess Celestia could have a day off from the Summer Sun Festival. We're royalty, Luna. Gossip comes with the territory. And when you were presented to Ponyville for the first time after you were cured, you were so small and cute, of course no pony was going to believe you were truly the evil queen of the night. I suppose 'tis better than having every pony assume I would fall back into madness, Luna conceded. But sister, how can I earn any pony's forgiveness if they refuse to believe I did anything wrong? Remember, Luna, you weren't in your right mind at the time. That sort of black magic could have happened to any pony. I still say you were just using that as an excuse for me so I won't keep punishing myself over it. I am much more inclined to believe Discord's lies had something to do with it. She kept leafing through articles idly until she found the one she'd nearly set on fire days before. Oh, just listen to this one! Princess Celestia, in a bid to maintain absolute control over Equestria, banished her sister to the moon where Princess Luna began to crusade for the rights of the common pony, rewrote the history books to play into the idea of eternal night, and used mind control to force Luna into the part of Nightmare Moon so that people would fear and distrust her. What in mother's name does this Sunny Luna stopped, squinted at the name, then at her sister. Celestia took a sip of hot cocoa. Sister. Yes? Care to explain why you are writing trashy tabloid articles about yourself? Celestia finally let herself chuckle. No one wants to believe you ever could have been Nightmare Moon, either because the sweet, innocent Princess Luna that appeared that day could never be evil, or because making you the tragic hero plays perfectly into their delusions of me as the wicked tyrant. So thou art helping them. If no pony wants to see you as Nightmare Moon, you might as well be a hero instead. The tabloids have been trying to make a tyrant out of me for centuries. Frankly, I prefer it to some of the alternatives. She thought back to the Molestia articles that had spatted up when she first took Twilight under her wing, with a grimace. Besides, that was only one of many contradictory articles in circulation. Be happy the tabloids are content with hailing you as a hero, rather than a co-dictator. Give it a few hundred years and they'll be claiming you defeated Nightmare Moon yourself, with no mention of the friends who were there to help you. There was no small amount of bitterness in her voice at that last part. But I want ponies to accept me as Nightmare Moon. I want to be forgiven for what I did, not have it swept under the rug. Ponies don't want to acknowledge your real mistakes, Lulu. They want to invent their own to dither over. That's just politics. At least this gives me a good excuse to pass more of the noble's power to the common work pony, without them realizing it's what I want. And anyway, little sister. Celestia leaned in close. Didn't you agree to the story that I was the one who sent Twilight the letters that cured Discord's curse? Twilight loves you, Sally, not me. Thou art the only one who could have saved her. She would not have accepted it any other way. Okay, I get it. Luna sighed, then eyed a small stack of papers Celestia had been scribbling on between rounds. And I suppose that is more of the same? I expect an article from Sunny Day about your Nightmare Night adventures in the next week. Ah. It brings back memories from 1,000 years ago, doesn't it? I do find it quite interesting that Nightmare Night falls on the day I faked my own kidnapping. Looking back on it, you played your part well, sister. I'm glad you've finally taken my advice to try the theater. The ponies love you. Which is why they screamed and ran from me on Nightmare Night. Ponyville was the epicenter of your attack, Luna. No one else really saw Nightmare Moon. Only there did they see the myth become reality. So after welcoming my healed self back with open hooves, the moment Nightmare Night whirls around, they go back to treating me like nothing changed at all. You visited them barely 2 weeks after Discord corrupted their very souls. Can you really blame them for being a bit jumpy? Oh, so I should simply excuse their behavior on Discord's actions? How many excuses should I bestow upon them? You showing up with newly instated Night Guard Pegasi riding T-Rex old chariot certainly didn't help. Remind me again why you took that as a trophy. He did technically make it for me, Luna muttered. And it's not as though I forced the bat-like appearance upon my guards. Every pony that swears themselves to us know full well conditions for joining. Thy troop's armor infuses them with a drop of thy concept, as do mine. And I was sure to warn them a dozen times that their physiology would be forever altered to reflect the night should they swear unto me. That doesn't make them any less strange to ponies who haven't grown accustomed to them roaming the castle. All I'm saying, Luna, is that showing up on a holiday centered around your nightmare self perhaps wasn't your wisest idea, especially in the aftermath of Discord's games. I wanted to change it! I was hoping to make it a night of merriment, to give them a chance to recover from their fears. I wanted ponies to believe the night would protect them. Why on earth did you even create that horrid holiday to begin with? I was hoping that keeping you as a mythical being within the pop culture would allow your image to be tamed, so ponies beyond their foalhood would forget to fear you. Which is why you told them I ate foals? I swear upon our mother and father, I had nothing to do with that. If I had any control over how rumors and legends mutate, I wouldn't need this. She pointedly lifted her stack of papers, then dropped it. One would think at least the bears and the dragonettes would cease to fear me. There were many factors working against you, sister. I'm sure it must have been difficult to reconcile a small, cute mare they met in the light of the summer sun with the dark presence your full form wields. And at least in Laughter's case, I believe she might have recognized you from your first meeting and acted accordingly. First meeting? What do you... Luna paused to put the dots together, then wilted in her seat. Ah, her. Actually, that explains quite a lot. Celestia chuckled lightly. Indeed. But really, you simply had the deck stacked against you. It certainly didn't help that you insisted upon the Royal Canterlot voice, combined with the archaic dialect you hadn't used the first time you met. I was so dazed from the rainbow of light turning me into a child I spoke Enochian most of that day, Luna admitted. But I wanted to show them I could be just as much a princess as thee. I wanted them to respect me the same way they respect thou. Luna, you use a dialect no pony has heard outside of the theater for centuries. You shouted at them. I still say you should have just told me no pony respects the casual form these days, she grumbled. There had been quite the argument when she first returned from her nightmare night outing to ask Celestia why she'd never corrected her outdated dialect. Apparently Celestia had genuinely forgotten to mention it. I know, and I do admit responsibility for failing you in that way. But there's one more thing. Luna, I understand your reaction, I really do. But your royal temper got the best of you, as it would have for any pony, I'm sure. And you exploding at them that night only made them fear you more. I know. Luna laid her head on the table, idly playing with a captured rook, before perking up suddenly. Wait, I must ask you, sister. How on earth did the image of Tartarus's imps enter the public consciousness enough to be made into a costume? I believe it's actually supposed to be Tarak. One of the legends about him resurfaced in the storybooks some 100 years ago, and the illustrator managed to make him look remarkably like Havoc's tormentors. That image of him is used quite a bit nowadays to represent evil temptations. Better him than our brother, she didn't say. Anyway, did anything else of interest happen after you finally endeared yourself to Ponyville? I did give Loyalty a good scare. At Celestia's flat look, she'd been firing lightning bolts behind my back all evening. She had it coming. Though she actually was wearing a costume based on the shadow bolts I presented to her on the night they healed me. Maybe I should form the team just for laughs. It might give thy Wonderbolts some much-needed competition. I believe Generosity is an excellent costume designer if you want the commission done. Oh, certainly not her. Luna shook her head with a grimace. That blasted perfectionist was still working on her costume well into the evening. Twilight brought me to her hoping she would be able to render my form less terrifying to the common pony, and she dressed me in more ruffles than that Lord Fluffbottom's favorite cravat. I will admit, most of her designs were quite brilliant, but I was dragged about like a doll until I finally tore the garish thing to shreds. And of course the pink one ran screaming, thinking I just killed her friend. Again. At least it's all behind you, Luna, Celestia soothed. Now the people can accept and love you, both from a distance and as a fellow pony. I simply hope it lasts until I make my next formal appearance as a princess, once the newness wears off. You know full well it takes only the most minor of details for something to slip from its reins and run wild. Don't think I didn't hear about your ruinous make every pony a princess scheme from the 1700s. Celestia's eyes narrowed. What you heard was likely a simplification and exaggeration. What I actually meant was every pony a princess in name, as a way of encouraging equality amongst the upper and lower classes. But of course, many young ponies meant I believe to treat every pony as royalty, and the nimbles immediately panicked that I was stripping them of their privileges. Why do you even keep the nobility around? They're not pets, Lulu. Much as ponies like to think otherwise, we can't run this country by ourselves, and they've still yet to reinvent swift, long-distance communication that doesn't rely on dragonflame. The nobility's parents, or their parents' parents, were quite successful at one time, so they believe that makes them successful by default. The day can't come soon enough that they realize it is not lineage that defines a pony, but their actions. We can only hope, Luna. We can only hope. I flew over the path leading to Ponyville, laughing my flank off. Oh, this felt so good, so incredibly, amazingly good! Fluttercurl, slow down, you're making me nervous, said my own voice in that stupid scaredy cat tone. No way, Flutterface! Just because you're too chicken to use these babies doesn't mean I have to be. I did a couple of loop-de-loops around some branches just because I could. Woohoo! I bit back the scream that coward tries to force out of my mouth and turned it into a laugh instead. I still have no idea how it happened or why, but I was in charge now, just like it always should have been. What right did she have to come crawling back after I took over the first time? I was here. I was me. I was hearing, seeing, smelling all of this with my own senses. The crisp taste of the air in my lungs was mine. The sound of the wind rushing through my feathers was mine. And where I was going next, what I was gonna do, those were all mine too. Fluttercurl, you really should just go back. I hadn't finished feeding the animals yet, and Angel can take care of it. He's actually way smarter and more decisive than you know? Of course I do. No bitterness or shame. Ugh, I'd almost forgotten this was the Pegasus who was told she was weak and helpless to her face and just agreed without hesitation. No wonder the old man's attempts to smash her ego didn't work. She didn't have one. There were monks who trained for years to be able to free themselves of their egos like that, and this damn flower did it all naturally. Well, good. Then I guess this new management won't be any problem for you. Now you can be the annoying voice in my head. Your prison cell, my body. Alright. I missed a wing beat and had to make a hasty landing to avoid crashing. What? If it makes you happy, then alright, my voice said in that nauseatingly gentle tone. But I really do think we should take another look for that filly today. I know the weather team's looking for her too, but we should really shut up and get out of my head! Technically, it was my head first, but there's enough room for both of us, I think. I growled almost inequally. How could she stay so calm when some pony takes over her body, but turn into a crying wreck at the sight of a single ribbon? She's just as alone now as she was then. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't let her stupid saccharineness get to you. I can almost appreciate how she turned the old man purple just with a few words and a smile. Not wanting to risk her throwing me off my flight again, I folded my wings and trotted the rest away to Ponyville proper. I felt a little dirty walking like Fluttershy. I mean, I wasn't nearly as scared of flying as she was. What was the point of having these babies if you never used them? I deserved them more than some pony who wasn't even gonna try. I trotted through town, my head held high and proud. No pony gave me much of a glance. After all, it was just Fluttershy going through town again. Sure, she was wearing a skirt for once, but even if they saw she didn't have her key mark, they'd probably just roll their eyes and assume they were seeing things. All they'd see was Fluttershy. I shook my head. I spotted that dense derby hose behind a small stand. There was a plate of muffins next to her, and a sign saying free sample, 1 per customer. I grinned like a fox. I trotted up to the stand and without a word, I kicked the silver platter the muffins were on, sending 2 flying into the air. I pulled a pinkie pie and opened my mouth wide, swallowing them in 2 gulps. I swallowed back Fluttershy's shocked gasp. I clamped my jaw down tight to keep her from speaking, though her muffled voice certainly tried. I grinned at Derpy and turned to leave when she shouted, "Hey, we're only supposed to cake 1!" I chuckled at her mangled ponish. Her face could be fun to listen to sometimes. "It's okay, I'm eating you too," I called back. Derpy stared at me for a long few seconds. Then she gasped, "Oh my Celestia, Fluttershy, you're and the silver platter finally fell back down, smacking her on the face. She fell over backward. I cackled. "What was I talking about again?" she said. For once, her eyes were both looking in the same direction. Huh. "Mom!" That little unicorn foal of hers rushed over and helped her mother to her hose. "Dinky-doo, I think?" I spared a moment to wonder if school was suspended again, or she was just ditching to help her dumbass of a mom, for I remembered she was homeschooled. Fluttershy had heard a few different theories through the years. She'd gotten bullied over her mom so much Derpy had to pull her out. Some kids said she was a unicorn because her mom was the result of mixed breeding that fucked her in the head. Not that that's how it works in the slightest, but hey. Or she just learned differently than other fillies and needed special attention a teacher couldn't give. I really didn't care either way. She was too chicken to stand up to a bunch of racist little turds. That's her problem. I just shrugged and walked away. Every pony watched Fluttershy walk away. I grit my teeth and glanced in the nearest storefront window. It was me smirking back. My face, my form, my body language. My fur wasn't quite the right shade, though. I glanced up and grinned. What a coincidence that I'd end up right outside the one decent fashion outlet in town. "Fluttercurl, wait! This place, it's on my photo finish!" my voice said meekly. My hose began to fight against me. I just rolled my eyes and flapped the last few steps. All the better. If I ran out of bits, I'll just say to charge it to her. She never did send you your last paycheck. But, I hear myself stutter pathetically. I really wasn't worried. The gossip tree Rarity always rattled off her weekly spa meet with Shy, claimed Photo Finish had taken a vacation somewhere in the South Islands to recover, as per her psychologist's orders, so she could avoid the stress of the media circus for a bit. Some of her entourage was running her business in her place. They recognized me, but were remarkably polite given that Chai had walked out on their employer. An hour and a half later, I tried out with my maiden fur dyed a few shades darker, fishnet stockings on my back legs, a sexy little saddle to replace my skirt, and a fake cutie mark shaped like a bedeviled heart. The rest ponies had practically died of shock when sweet, shy little Fluttershy requested her new look. The dye job gave me a good excuse to get a cover-up for my lack of cutie mark, and of course I jumped at the chance to get a fake one painted on. Wearing clothes was pretty common in the bigger cities, but here in the boonies, wearing anything was attention-grabbing. Something as daring as this was bound to draw the heads of every pony in town. Oh, this felt amazing. I looked in the store window again and couldn't help but grin at the mare staring back at me. I felt pretty warm, too. Fluttershy had spent the entire time blushing like a tomato, so of course I had to. It was annoying, but at least the shopkeepers didn't say anything. And at least she was too busy being embarrassed to try to take control again. I trotted across town with a sway in my flanks. I basked in the attention from the stallions I passed, even as Fluttershy squeaked and tried to get me to run away. The town's only dance club was just a few buildings down from Photo Finish's outlet. There wasn't much of a line given it was still early afternoon. Too bad, I'd have loved the opportunity to charm the bouncer into letting me cut the line. Then again, Flutterface probably would have screamed and blushed until we fainted from dizziness. I'd rather not get any ponies' attention in that way. Inside the club it was pretty dark. The main dance floor on the stage was lit up with purple-pink spotlights, but all the rest was covered in thick curtains and black light lamps to make a near-otherworldly atmosphere. I glanced at the DJ. It wasn't DJ Pone3 or Vinyl Scratch or whatever. Guess she was still in Manhattan visiting family as part of her recovery. Rumor has it she'd spent that day blaring slow classical music from one speaker and bluegrass country from the other, all while smashing her favorite records and ranting about how much she hated music in an auto-tuned voice. There was a monitor off to the side with a short waiting list. I threw in a few bits and took a number. My hooves were dragging again. I don't like it here, we should leave. I don't like it here, we should leave. I clamped a hoof over my mouth and hauled the rest of the way to the bar. What can I get for you, sweetheart? Don't remember seeing the likes of you in here before, purred the bartender. He had a yin-yang cutie mark, of all things. Water, gold feather tequila. The bartender raised an eyebrow, but complied. He poured out a shot glass and slid it my way. I didn't bother with a straw like most non-unicorns, just took it in both hoods and downed it in one gulp before Fluttershy could clamp our mouths shut. Oh wow, I'm already feeling a bit tipsy. Forgot Fluttershy's never drank before. I really shouldn't drink, whispers my own voice. I see her worried eyes looking back at me from the glass's reflection. You only wind up hurting yourself and others around you, and it's a slippery slope I don't want you going down. You aren't my mother, I grumbled to myself. Well, actually, if Discord was your father and he made you based on me, I think I am something like your mother. And as your mother, I have to tell you, I think his behavior is awful. Whatever. I slapped a passing stallion on the butt with my tail. I saw him glare at me in the glass's reflection, but didn't give him a reaction. Cruel, that's enough! My voice snapped. The ponies around us looked at me. You really would like to be mother, wouldn't you? I mused slowly. I bet if you could turn one of your friends into a filly, like Rainbow Crash with a pink one, you'd do it just to have some pony to baby. I ordered and took another drink. How could you say such a horrid thing? I'd never do that! I basked in her dismay. Oh, come on, I sang, thoroughly enjoying being back in control of the discussion. Yeah, everyone was looking at me. Let 'em. Playing patty cakes, playing mommy, giving Dashie a chance to wash her slate clean. Be honest, you'd love it. But what if I couldn't give her those years back? If I just gave her a filly's mind, then I'd be stealing her life from her. It would only be a real clean slate if you could give them their childhood years back too. Otherwise it'd just be selfish. And besides, Rainbow Dash's life isn't anywhere near so bad that she'd need that kind of clean slate. Another glass. Heh, good thing you were born a filly, Flutter Girl. If you'd been a colt, everyone would have called you a spineless wimp. At least now you're a cute and graceful spineless wimp. I wouldn't be that awful. Though, I have wondered if Rainbow Dash wouldn't be happier as a colt. That pony's expecting her to act more like a filly when she doesn't want to. Another glass. It burns less than the last few. Yeah, I bet you just want to cut off those pretty little wings of mine and spend your time pretending you're an earth pony. Yeah, I bet that's what you really want. Such an awful flyer. Better to just hack off your useless wings and be a regular little earth pony with all the bones and no magic. Coward. No! I felt her stretch her wings close in horror. The screen above the stage flashed my number. One more glass for the road. Does tequila tend to lose its taste the more you drink it? Whatever. I tossed a few bits into the counter and trotted up the stage. I nearly tripped on the way up the stairs, the alcohol in my system doing no favors for my balance. I give the DJ my request, then take my place beside the pole at the center of the stage. Are you sure we can't just sing something by Acoustic Mando? Nope. I wrapped one hook around the pole, used the other to point at the DJ, and shouted, "Hit it! Don't like the way I act. Girl, you better face the fact. You waited a long while, but I ain't about to change my style. This is me, how I'm meant to be. Take it or leave it. I am free, how I like to be. Take it or leave it. I spun around the pole a few times, reaching one hoof towards the meager audience with a coy smile. I spread my wings proudly. You think I should change my pace? Why don't you get off my case? You see I'm the hurting kind, girl, you gotta keep in mind. This is me, how I'm meant to be. Take it or leave it. What you get is what you see, you better believe it. Take it or leave it, baby. Take it or leave it. I blew a kiss just as the song ended. The audience roared its approval. I was covered in sweat. Fluttershy's body wasn't used to this kind of exercise. I knew my hind legs would be sore in a few hours. Letting another mare take my place, still breathing hard. You're horrible! Music's my ears, though I wish the music would cut down a little. Take it or leave it, Flutterface. I order another drink. The bartender keeps giving me concerned looks, but I ignore him. I take another gulp. What's the big deal about alcohol anyway? I laugh triumphantly. Now we're back to where we began, where we belonged in the first place. Is this where you struggle to regain control so you can get Twilight to murder me? Twilight isn't a murderer, she shouts. I wonder what the ponies around us think is wrong with me. She murdered my 4 sisters, didn't she? What? Confusion and fear. Rainbow Ditch, Greedy, Pissy Pie, Liarjack. I guess Celestia killed Twilight the Grey first. I'm the only one who had something like you. The others just had their minds twisted. You said it yourself. I wasn't altered like the others, remember? I made a guess then, but now I've had time to think about it. How can you be so sure? How can any pony be sure? How do you know that the others like me didn't die? They only stuck around because your stupid subconscious couldn't bear to see some pony die. You remember what you did as me, same as all the others do, even though you weren't in control. And it was you who said they weren't acting like themselves, right? If that's true, then who exactly were they acting like? Like no one. They weren't acting like anyone. They were sick. Twilight just cured them. So I'm no one then? I'm just a sickness? I ordered another drink. It slashes down my front when I try to drink it. I never said that, says my reflection in the glass. I howled. Yes, you did! When we first met, remember? But then you started gloating about how you needed me to outpace Rainbow Crash, and you decided I was actually just some lowly fucked up kid or whatever. And yeah, maybe I am, but isn't it nice to think that maybe, just maybe, you weren't the only pony like you in all existence? My voice was shaking more than it was slurring my now. I nearly knocked over my glass. I wiped at my eyes furiously, facing my reflection in the bar's polished surface. Fluttershy looked back, coat tied darker, mane cut short, wearing some risque saddle, looking tired, angry, scared. But where was I? This was my body, damn it, so where the hell was I? Nowhere. Same place I've always been. Reality crashes down around me. I peel myself off the bar stool, tossing whatever bits I had left in the bartender's general direction. I walked out silently, head held low. It was bright outside when I emerged. I blinked away the spots in my eyes. I could hear ponies muttering, wondering if I had been rehearsing lines for a play or just suffering some psychotic break. Like it mattered. Like I mattered. As long as you exist, I'm nothing but a lie. No, it's worse than that. I'm a parody of you. Even if you were to vanish right now, it'd still be nothing but Fluttershy with a bad attitude. The anger in my voice gives way to exhaustion. I'm done with this. I tear off the saddle and stockings and toss them into the nearest garbage bin. I begin to walk away from Ponyville, stumbling and swaying, not giving a shit who I bumped into. Whatever, I've had my day. What does anything else matter now? I don't exist. You do. You win. You're gonna have your giant group hug with your friends later. Ugh, mother chaos. Fluttershy spoke up, clearly uncertain. Don't you mean Mother Celestia? I'd never heard her voice sound so worried before. I felt nauseous, and I don't think it was just the alcohol. Celestia's for you ponies. I'm not a pony. She's no mother of mine. I don't have a mother, just a sea of nothingness. I hear the sound of laughing fillies. Fluttershy turns her head. Her 80 sister is holding a doll hesitantly, looking almost scared of the thing. Next to her, Apple Bloom played with the same brand of doll, but this one had a lot more scuff marks and her mane styled differently. You see that, Fluttercurl? Those fillies have the same doll, but they're completely different where it counts. I sighed. You get points for trying, Shy, but you can't make something out of nothing. Sorry. I was born from nothing, so it's about time I returned there. My stomach growled. I never did get around to eating that hamburger. Huh. Actually, remember this morning? I only took control because I was so sick of hearing you preach about what is and isn't natural. I never actually saw the other side of your elements, did you? All the rest of your friends have by now, but the old man gave up a few sentences in and just made me to pretend he got to you. I'm sorry, Fluttercurl. I've tried my best to help you. I'm sorry I never understood you better. Guess I really am no good with fillies. I felt tears forming. I didn't know whose they were. Oh, who am I kidding? Living things had things like tears, not nothings like me. You never really faced your element's flip side, Fluttershy. You know what? You spent all this time trying to teach me about kindness. Maybe it's time I taught you something in return. Consider it repayment for all the time you wasted on me. I spread my wings and flew unevenly. Vaguely remember some PSAs from Fluttershy's school years about the dangers of flying while drunk. I'm sure I'll be fine, though. Probably. Where are we going? To where Whitetail Woods borders the Everfree. I need to show you a few things. Maybe then you'll finally understand. The Everfree Forest? My voice whispers. Don't worry, we're not going near any monsters. And I promise we'll leave if we spot one. I don't think my voice has ever sounded so at peace my entire life. Why are you taking us there? Like I said, there's a few things you need to learn there, and this is the best place for those lessons. Well, learn what? You'll see. The rest of the flight was silent. The Everfree was exactly the same as always. Even in the daylight, it was a fortress of wild trees and nature that refused to bend to equine will. How on earth did that zebra survive in this death trap? Somehow I managed to land without crashing, even with my inner ear doing cartwheels. I walked into the forest, unafraid. I was a monster born from chaos. This is where I belonged. But other, much more normal living things lived here too. And I sensed them. I felt them. And I let those senses lead me to what I needed to show my captor before I let myself fall back into the black ocean I was born from. We came across a family of raccoons. Yeah, regular raccoons live in the Everfree. All the big scary predators in here need something to eat. That's just nature. And I could feel it. It was gonna happen right now. A wolf came charging out of a bush, leaping onto the biggest raccoon, killing it in a single swipe. The children scampered for cover while the father leapt on the wolf with a snarl, trying desperately to buy time for his young to survive. They never noticed us, hidden in the bushes. Or maybe they just didn't care. Take a good long look, Fluttershy. This is nature. The tears are back, and this time I know they aren't from me. This is wrong. It's wrong for a wolf to do what it needs to survive. It's wrong that they have to do this to survive. Would you say it's cruel? Yes. Wolf howled and fought with the brave raccoon, clawing at its own face, both drawing blood, until finally the raccoon's broken body came tumbling off the wolf's face. The wolf looked around for the disappeared kits, then picked up the mangled, bloody bodies and left. We followed at a distance for a while, losing track of time, until the wolf reaches its den, greeted by a litter of pups. It drops its kills in front of the mother, tearing it apart into smaller bites. The mother gorges herself on one, then spits it back out for the pups to feast on. Would you call them big bad wolves just for killing innocent raccoons? Or would you call them loving parents? I asked quietly. I never said wolves were evil. I didn't ask if you thought they were evil. I asked if you thought it was wrong for them to follow their nature. This is a kind of kindness, isn't it? The way mother and father sacrifice for the next generation. I didn't give her time to answer, letting my senses guide my gaze up to the treetops, where a mother bird had just started tearing off parts of its own flesh to feed its fledglings. Fluttershy's lip quivers. Things were lining up just a bit too perfectly to be a coincidence. If I didn't know any better, that's where the Everfree itself was guiding me. The forest wanted this lesson taught just as much as me. I glided a safe distance away from the wolf den and dug around the dirt between two trees, revealing their roots. Here, what do you see? Tree roots. From more than one tree? Yes. Do you think these trees are trying to be friends? No. If time were to be sped up, and we could watch these roots grow, what do you think we'd see? We'd see the roots fighting each other. We'd see the trees competing for sun and water. Plants are living beings too, Shy. They live and die, and get eaten by another thing trying to do the same. Why are they any less than the animals you care about? Because they don't have a face? Because they don't sing? Plants don't feel pain. They don't feel fear or happiness. They just are. And why do you bother trying to save a tree when it's being eaten by a swarm of bugs? Or is it the bugs that aren't alive? Why do you feel sad if you fail to save it? Why do you apologize to it? And if a pony had no heart and couldn't feel those things, would you say they weren't alive either? My voice dropped. What if they had no childhood? What if they had never experienced things like living and growing, just coming into existence one day on the whims of someone else? Would you say they weren't alive? At least I'd agree with you there. Please, cruel, Fluttershy sniffed. Say whatever you want, but Please don't say that about yourself. You were unique and precious the moment you first existed. I never existed. I ignore her protest, reburying the roots and letting the forest carry me where it wills. Barely at the edge of the Everfree, I found a burrow of rabbits. I think this is the burrow Angel came from, Fluttershy whispers, unsure. I don't know why, but I don't feel any satisfaction from how small she sounded now. If anything, I felt small. I don't say anything. I know what's about to happen next. I steel myself to make sure Fluttershy can't look away. 2 male rabbits hop up to each other, a nearby doe watching. Then they leap at each other, teeth and tiny claws bared. They snarl, bite, claw at each other. I fight against Fluttershy's efforts to close our eyes or turn her head. Take a good hard look, Fluttershy. This is what rabbits do to claim mates. There's no debate, no long-term romantic rivalries. The bucks kill each other, and the doe goes with the survivor, and none of them mind in the least. Fluttershy's dizziness was making me woozy too, but it kept her eyes focused. These aren't random alien creatures, Fluttershy. This is nature. I know, but She hiccuped. I've never really seen it before. I never thought it was this vicious. You mean cruel? I was decidedly feeling ill now. Wasn't sure who it was coming from. Her eyes were red from crying. I was so tempted to end this now, to leave her here and slip back into the black ocean, but I felt the forests pull one more time. There was one last thing I needed to show her. One last truth. I let my senses guide me. One last thing, Fluttershy. I promise. A spider in her web. If a spider doesn't catch any butterflies, the spider starves. And aren't a spider's webs as beautiful as a butterfly's wings? Wait. I realized the true lesson I was drawn here to witness. You're about to see the final truth of nature's fury, Fluttershy. The big fat spider crawled up towards an egg sac in the corner of the web. Before our eyes, the first of the baby spiders forced their way out of the sac. Then more and more, dozens upon dozens of tiny little spiders. Their mother didn't flee, didn't leave. She just calmly continued her death march toward them. Fluttershy witnessed as the spider's children descended upon her, eating her alive to gain the strength to leave their web. Then they spun tiny little parachute strings and flew away, leaving the empty web. No trace of the mother remained. Fluttershy said nothing, thought absolutely nothing, like she was as much a part of the void as me. Time for the final blow. Compassion, empathy towards those who are not you, ethics, morals, laws, those are things civilization invented. You ponies only brought them into being when you decided to give a shit about more than carrying your DNA into the next generation. You decided some things were more important than mere survival. You learned what love was when Celestia or whoever taught you to care about something other than your genetic successors. That's cool, that's great, good for you. But the natural world? When was the last time you saw parasprites and cockatrices having political debates? Nature's fury doesn't tolerate kindness, Flutterface. You go against nature's will whenever you heal some poor sick creature. They're supposed to die to let the stronger survivors carry the species on. But because you have an empathy spirit larger than the damn sun, you step in and cheat Darwin's law by allowing the weak to survive. That kind of kindness goes against nature, Fluttershy. You're just as unnatural as me. I felt it behind us now. Behind me. It's not really a part of reality, just like I'm not really alive. I'm less than a ghost. Ghosts at least used to be alive, and they at least have somewhere to go. I have nothing. I was born from nothing, and into nothing I shall return. I allow the darkness to wrap around my wings and hooves slowly, and pull out of Fluttershy's body. I don't resist. I catch a glimpse of Fluttershy's key mark reappearing over the messy dye job. I probably should have apologized for that, huh? Oh, whatever. I've accomplished what I set out to do. Fluttershy's seen the real world now. Nothing else really mattered. There was no reason for me to stick around anymore. Goodbye, Fluttershy, I whispered. Consider our debts repaid. Just remember me, all right? I closed my eyes and breathed one final breath. Wait, that smell. Something's wrong. It's not fair, Fluttershy whispers. Her voice is so lifeless. I feel a pulse of fear down my phantom spine. A new set of black threads rise up and begin to twist around her. No, not her! I'm the one you want! Please, leave her alone! All this death. Fluttershy's colors fade. All this unhappiness, then turn gray. All this cruelty, then black as tar. It's not fair. This world isn't fair. No, this isn't what I wanted. Anyone, stop this, please! Her big blue eyes wide as golf balls, almost glowing against the black of her coat, Fluttershy sheds one last tear. Then, in the softest whisper, I'll make it fair. From the spot where the tear hits the ground erupts a maelstrom of darkness, black tendrils and shadowy fog spreading every which way. I can just barely catch glimpses of Fluttershy's feathers falling off, replaced by shining gossamer. Fluttershy's mane and tail growing, twisting like vines and spreading withered flowers. Fluttershy's legs and muscle growing longer, a horn sputtering her head. Fluttershy! Fluttershy! I tried desperately to reach her, but I didn't have a voice. Sing! I can sing to her, right? How did it go? Hush now, quiet now, time to, damn it, why can't I remember the words? Please, let me sing to her. Let me tell her I didn't want this. Let me tell her I'm sorry. I struggle and scream against the black threads, but I'm only pulled downward, into the darkness where I belong. I get the joke, all right. I had surpassed my father. I had become greater than him. I had done what he couldn't, and I didn't even need mind control to do it. Would he be proud of me, envy me, loathe me for daring to be better than him and destroy me? You'd think I'd be happy about this. You'd think I'd be happy about destroying the only pony who's ever known me, who's ever given a shit about me. Hey, did you know it's possible to go from thinking you're nothing to feeling like less than nothing? It's like the core of my being has become a black hole, pulling all the rest of me inside, dragging me back into the murky, empty nothingness I was made from. I returned to nothing. Celestia, what the hell have I done?